Hello, friends. Big T here. Now, you're about to watch a video that's going to show you how I use a special strategy Wall Street relies on to make billions of dollars in low-risk, high-reward profits from boring blue-chip stocks during what I call anomaly windows. You see, an anomaly window is a unique moment in time when really the improbable becomes possible. Now, I'm making this quick pre-video because this particular anomaly window is looking to be much, much bigger than what I first realized. Now, here's why I say that. You see, since this video first launched, my first few anomaly trades have exploded in value. Now, I don't want you to worry. I have more trades primed and ready to take advantage of this unfolding anomaly window. And I want to share with you how well they've done so far. The returns have been dramatic, and I want to let you know this is all actual returns that we've shown, and they've been done in blue chip stocks. Now, on Thursday, October 5th, we closed out our first anomaly window trade for 117% gain in 7 days. On Friday, October 6th, we closed out our second anomaly window trade for 43% in 8 days. And again, on Monday, October 9th, we closed out a third winning trade for 57% in 4 days. Friends, you normally have to wait decades to see these kinds of returns, especially from blue chip stocks. But right now, when you act inside one of these anomaly windows, you can literally capture decades of typical stock market returns in a matter of days. Now, everything in life comes with a catch, and this does too. To profit from these anomaly windows, to pull these types of gains from blue chip stocks, you must use a special strategy. You cannot invest the same way that you've been investing your whole life and expect to receive these types of gains. Now, this is an incredibly powerful strategy that Wall Street has spent a lot of money keeping from you. They do not want you to know about this strategy because top Wall Street investors like JP Morgan have used this strategy for years. By one report, they recently clocked in over $1.5 billion in trading profits using this strategy that for us has enjoyed a 96% win rate. So that 96% win rate for us is over more than 400 trades, over more than 10 years. So you can see that this approach works when the market is crashing, when it's gunning higher like an adrenaline-fueled adventure junkie, or just when it's going sideways like my grandmother in her rocking chair. Now, with everything going on in the markets, from the conflict in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine, to rising interest rates and inflation fears here at home, many investors are confused. They're worried and they don't know what to do. And you see, that's why I've worked with my publisher to make this video available again for a very limited time. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take a few minutes right now, watch the video in full. I'll show you everything, including what this anomaly window is, why Wall Street is moving over $26 billion to take advantage of this anomaly window, and most importantly, how you can safely pull forward decades worth of stock market gains over the next few days and weeks ahead. All right, friends, that's enough out of me. Enjoy the video. And as I always like to say, I want you to always remember, let the game come to you.
You know, it's interesting. If you're like most people, you've spent your whole life following Wall Street's plan. Hey, you want to retire? Buy and hold for 40 years. If that doesn't work longer. Wall Street tells us to wait a lifetime, but when it comes to their own investing, then they have a different plan. The Wall Street Journal says it's happening behind the scenes. Barron's calls it Wall Street's greatest secret. Tika Tiwari says it's because once you know this secret, you'll never buy into their normal 40-year way of investing ever again. In fact, not only does Tika believe this secret will radically change the way you view investing, thanks to a new market anomaly, it could help you recapture up to 42 years of stock market wealth in the next 90 days if you prepare right now. Hello everyone, my name is John Burke, and this is Race Against the Clock, 42 years of wealth in the next 90 days. Now, Tika, I know we're in a hurry, time is of the essence, and I promise I'm going to get off my soapbox in just a moment here.
Well, I'm smiling, John, because it's weird. Usually I'm the one on the soapbox.
Yeah, well, there'll be time for that. Trust me. But here's the thing. I want to take a second to give everyone some extra context here, because we all know your work in crypto. It is legendary. Your Bitcoin recommendation by itself impacted countless of people. And as one reader put it, you helped him make 38 years of wealth in just 4 years. But you know, folks, what you may not know is Tika's been doing this for decades, but in the stock market. For example, Tika was so tapped into the market, Fox and ABC's Nightline aired his forecasts on live TV. Shearson Lehman made him the youngest VP in their history. Hey, that's not bad for a 20-year-old kid with no college degree, huh? Thanks for joining us, Tika.
Well, it's wonderful to be here, John.
Now listen, I have to say something. I'm really personally, just on a personal note, I am really looking forward to what you're going to share with us today, because when I hear the words race against the clock, boy, that just resonates. It's a wake-up call. It's exactly how I feel when it comes to my own retirement. Like I'm in a race against time. I mean, I am way behind where I want to be. I'm way behind where I thought I was going to be. I feel like I'm running against the wind. I got 2 kids going into college. I only have a few years to catch up here, Tika.
It's the perfect way to put it, because we are, all of us, in this race against time. Many of us here, watching right now, you and I, we're not 24, we're not 34. We don't have years and years to be patient. And we don't have years to make up for mistakes. So, look, if you're in your 50s or if you're in your 60s or older and you're behind where you hope to be financially, you've got to do something different, John. You have to find a way to recapture these decades of wealth. You have to do it quickly, but you have to do it with less risk. It's really an impossible conundrum. There's really only one way I know how to do that, by using this very particular series of investing strategies the exact same way that Wall Street uses them.
And that's why we're here. You're going to share that with us today.
I'm going to be a complete open book. I'm going to show you everything, John. I'm going to reveal Wall Street's most powerful trading strategy, a strategy I've been using for the last 11 years to help transform the financial lives of literally thousands upon thousands of my subscribers. And along the way, we've done that with a 96% success rate. Over those 11 years, though, there are certain periods of time, like now, where our success rate is even better than 96%. And our profits, well, they can increase by as much as 100 times our normal profit rate. But here's the thing to understand. These types of returns, John, they're not normal. They only happen during what I call anomaly windows, right? So what is that? What's an anomaly window? Anomaly windows are brief moments where outside forces create opportunities to recapture decades of wealth in a matter of days inside the stock market. And that's why I'm here, because not only can I confirm that anomaly window is open, it is, and it's open right now. And something I want to make very clear, I'm not asking anyone to take me on blind faith. What I want to do tonight is I want to prove it. Throughout my 30-year-plus career in the financial industry, I've only encountered a handful of anomaly windows of this magnitude. Now, the first time we found an anomaly window of this type of magnitude, I showed my readers how to recapture 10 years worth of stock market gains in 14 days. During another anomaly window, we captured 27 years of returns in 21 days. And the last anomaly window, we recaptured 42 years, 63 days. And here's the thing that's going to sound crazy to everyone watching tonight, is that everything we did was incredibly conservative.
Conservative, really, Tika? You're talking 42 years worth of returns in 63 days. I mean, is that even really possible? Are you sure we're not talking crypto here?
I know it sounds ludicrous, right? This sounds like something that would only be possible from investing in cryptos or risky penny stocks. But I want to be very clear, John. What I'm talking about is the furthest thing from crypto. This has nothing to do with the buying and holding penny stocks or anything like that. In fact, when I tell you what it is, you're going to think I'm kind of out of my mind. Okay. Friends, the secret to making this opportunity possible, and I want you to suspend your disbelief because I know you're not going to believe me as soon as I say this, but the secret to this strategy, it lies within the realm of blue chip stocks. These massive gains that I've been able to uncover have been from boring blue chip stocks that we have identified during one of these anomaly windows.
Wait a second. I did not see that coming. Can you say that one more time? We're talking about blue chip stocks.
I'm smiling because I know everybody at home is going to think, okay, this guy's just making stuff up. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be possible. But friends, I promise you, tonight I'm going to show you when you operate within an anomaly window period, wild things can happen. Things that shouldn't be able to happen can happen. You can potentially recapture decades of wealth from, yes, blue chip stocks. Now, again, I'm going to read your mind right now. You're saying, okay, T, what's the gotcha? What's the aha? What are you not telling me? Because you can't get gains this big, this fast by buying and holding blue chips.
Yes. What's the catch? That's the question. You're right.
Well, John, friends at home, you are very smart. Of course there's a catch. Nothing in this world is free. To profit from the anomaly window, you have to use a special strategy. I'm talking about a Wall Street strategy so powerful that Fidelity Investments, the $4.2 trillion asset manager, they say when you use this strategy, the potential profit is unlimited. That's how powerful it is. Well, John, this is the same strategy quietly being used by the top firms on Wall Street today. And I can virtually guarantee they've never told their clients about it. You see, what I have discovered is that they're doing everything in their power to keep it out of the hands of the investment public. And I'm going to do something here that I'm quite famous for. Again, I'm going to gaze into my imaginary crystal ball and I'm going to foretell the future.
Go. Tell us what it says.
Friends, it says that when I reveal this strategy, right, the aha, the gotcha, if you will, you're not going to want to do it. You're going to hate it. You're going to automatically reject it. Some of you are going to get mad at me because the actual strategy, as much as Wall Street tries to make it complicated, I'm going to make you a promise. It's simple. Literally, a 12-year-old could do it. It's like one of my readers wrote into me and said, this is really the easiest money I've ever made. But here's the catch. And hear me when I tell you this. When I tell you what this strategy is, it will be definitively outside your comfort zone. Not because it's hard, but because it's different. I'm going to ask you tonight, don't confuse different with difficult. Don't confuse different with complicated, because it isn't complicated at all. John, again, I don't expect anybody here to take me on blind faith. That's just not the way I operate. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the 3 biggest anomalies I've encountered over the last few years, how much profit you could have made had you known about them, and then I'll reveal Wall Street's strategy and how they've been using it behind your back to make as much as $22.6 billion a year in profits. But before we get to that, I first need to show you, why is Wall Street keeping this from you? Does that sound good?
It sounds like a good plan to me, Tegan.
All right, well, let's get into it. So look, Wall Street has made you a simple promise, John. Friends at home, it's made you a simple promise. Here's what they said. Give me your money. Let me invest it in the stock market and stock indexes. Give me 30 or 40 years. And over time, I promise I'm going to help fund your retirement. Sounds amazing in theory, right? Not bad. So let's look at that promise that they gave you. Let's take a shorter time frame. Over the past 10 years, the S&P 500 is up about 168%. That feels pretty darn good, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if I double my money, I'm good with that.
Right. And most people would agree with you. But you'll want to see this before you make up your mind as to how good a deal that really is. You see, while Wall Street's been telling you that you've got to wait at least 10 years to make any real money, behind your back, they're doing something very different with their own money. You see, they've been using these anomaly windows combined with this special trading strategy that I will explain to make 10 years worth of returns, not in 5 years, not in 1 year. John, they've been making 10 years worth of returns in as little as 14 days.
Okay, wait a minute. And you know, I just intuitively, I had a feeling that something like this was coming. I'm supposed to wait 10 years. And that's why Wall Street makes it in just about 14 days.
That's right, John. And I want you to think about that. Wall Street makes you wait a decade of your life. Time we can't get back. Yet they make 10 years worth of S&P 500 gains from this same exact strategy I'm going to explain tonight in 14 days.
Okay, so I'm curious. How about if we go back a little further, say 20 years? What happens then?
Well, I came prepared, John. So here's the S&P 500 over a 20-year time frame. It's up a whopping 348%, which is great. Wall Street comes in here and they says, see, look, even through all the ups and downs, we made you money. Meanwhile, I want you to look at what they are making for themselves. They're making you wait 20 years. John, 20 years of your life is dripping away. But Wall Street, they're using the same strategy that I'll discuss tonight, and it allows them to make 20 years worth of returns in 63 days. Friends, do you understand? Can you begin to see why I had to be here? This is bigger than money. This is about recapturing time, your life, getting your life back. And that's why I'm here tonight.
All right. Well, you got my attention. I think you've got everybody's attention. I mean, if there's a way that I can potentially make 10, 20, even 42 years of returns in the next few days, with less risk, by the way, hey, I'm all for it. Because, and I don't want to, look, I don't want to date us here, Tika, but these next few years, they are a big deal. Heck, I mean, a year at my age is a really big deal.
John, it's a big deal for us and for many of the people watching tonight. I'm in my 50s, you're in your 50s. We're cornered. The next 20 years are the most important of our lives. We can't just sit around and wait. We can't take massive risks. So, look, if your dream is to hunt, to ski, to hike, or maybe you just want to start a new chapter, you want to volunteer at your church, you want to open up a little cafe in Key West, whatever your dream is, these things require not just time and money, but physical health. Okay? Try doing a hunt for sheep up in the mountains at 75 years old.
Right.
Okay? You can't put that off for another 20 years.
That's right.
So that's why I call this event Race Against the Clock, because these anomalies are rare. You only have a brief window to act. And because we're older now, we don't have 20 or 30 or 40 years of compounding. So, you know, who knows when we will see another group of opportunities like this again. Like I said, throughout my 30-year career, I've only encountered a handful of these anomalies. So if you want to get out of Wall Street's matrix, you've got to make a change now. You've got to invest, not the way that Wall Street tells you, but the way they invest their own money.
Okay, that brings up a great point. I mean, that's what I want to know. How do I invest like Wall Street?
So here's the key. What you've got to do is you've got to look at what the big guys are doing rather than listen to what they're saying. Again, it bears repeating. You have to look at what they're doing with their own money.
I know, but Tika, listen, this is Wall Street. This is Wall Street that we're talking about. How am I supposed to know or find out what they're doing?
You got to dig, John. You got to go into the annual reports, the 10Ks, the 13S, because that's exactly what I did. And what I saw drove me crazy. I've already identified over a dozen billionaires, the biggest Wall Street firms on the planet. They're moving billions of dollars into a specific area of the market to prepare for this anomaly window. So I'll give you an example. Ray Dalio's Bridgewater, which is the second largest hedge fund in the world, they just moved $1.5 billion to prepare for this upcoming anomaly window. Michael Burry's Cyan Asset Management, well, they moved over $1.6 billion. This is all public knowledge, part of the SEC filings. JP Morgan has over $23.2 billion devoted to profit from this anomaly. And Ken Griffin's Citadel, his hedge fund lost billions back in 2008. In fact, they almost collapsed. Last year, they made over $16 billion in profit. They became the most profitable hedge fund in history.
Now that's what you call a comeback.
It's a comeback that was on the back of this strategy. Now, here's the real question. Again, how did Citadel manage to go from nearly bankrupt to the most profitable hedge fund in history? I'll tell you how. Again, by using the only strategy that allows you to profit from these anomaly windows. And right now, Citadel has 40 of their institutional clients, massive pension funds, endowment funds, mutual funds, investing in this anomaly window. Yet today, less than 1% of regular Americans are prepared for it.
You know what's interesting? I consider myself fairly well connected. I consider myself fairly well read. I don't know. It's just amazing to me that all these top Wall Street firms are doing this. I'm not hearing anything about this, Tika.
John, I'm going to ask you a question that you might feel a little bit embarrassed about to answer, or a bit mad, or maybe a combination of both. Do you think that's an accident? These insiders, they're doing everything in their power to keep this knowledge away from you. And the NASDAQ actually reported on this, and I was shocked when I saw this. Wall Street works to keep the secret out of everyday investors' hands because they know once you know about it, you're going to wake up. You'll never, ever buy into their normal 40-year plan of investing ever again. John, this anomaly window and the strategy attached to it is so powerful. Wall Street is actively lobbying the SEC to change the law to keep it a secret. Now, here's why. Wall Street is a business. So let's say you own a business, and your business model depends on people keeping their money with you under management, essentially forever. Doesn't it benefit you to do everything within your power to convince those people to keep their money with you for as long as possible? Yeah. I mean, just forget the morality of it for a second, because it's completely immoral. But does it make sense if you are a rapacious businessman on Wall Street?
It makes total sense, Tika. It makes total sense. And I can really see a conflict of interest right there.
Well, there is. It's a huge $457 billion conflict of interest. That's how much they're making in fees from you buying in to their 40-year plan. It's all been done to serve their interests, not yours. Now, friends, I'm going to talk to you for a second here. There was a time when I lived, ate, and bred Wall Street. Worked on Wall Street for 15 years, and I was an animal. I'm not going to lie to you. I was an awful human being. All I cared about was making money. And then I woke up one day and I said, I can't live like that anymore. This is not who I am. And I left. And I joined the newsletter business. And I'll tell you why. I'm not beholden to Wall Street. I'm not beholden to advertisers. We accept and have never accepted any form of advertising or paid placement ever in any of our newsletters. My interests are aligned with yours for one reason only, to make you money. And I will tell you this right now, when I reveal to you how this works, it's going to blow your mind, but you're also going to get angry, because using this strategy within an anomaly window is the only way I know how to recapture decades of returns, but from blue chip stocks, and to do it quickly, and most importantly of all, because of our age, to do it safely.
Okay, that's a great point. So I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready to see this strategy in action. What do you get?
Okay, let's do it, John. So to do this, we're going to start small and then widen out. I'm going to walk you through a few of the smaller anomalies, and then we can go from there.
Perfect.
So let's take a look back at one of the earlier anomalies I helped my subscribers take advantage of. Now, remember, I told you, anomalies are brief windows in time where outside forces create opportunities inside the stock market. And what it does is it amps up volatility, right? You get really big volatility within these periods of time. So one of the earliest anomaly windows that I brought to my readers was encountered in the lead up to Brexit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the whole world was going to fall apart.
Oh, yeah. Brexit rocked the market.
Right. It annihilated them. Volatility was sky high. Stocks were whipsawing back and forth. And, when it passed, it led to the among the worst single day crashes in the market since 2008. We saw 2.1 trillion in wealth vanish like that. It was awful. Now, this was a huge anomaly window. As soon as we saw that Brexit was happening, we got excited because during these anomaly windows, you get this amazing surge in volatility. Now, here's the thing, though. While Main Street losses were just piling up to the sky, do you know what Wall Street was doing behind closed doors? They were busy running their anomaly window strategies. Again, the same strategy I'm going to show everybody here. So let's zoom in closer. You'll see exactly how Wall Street runs its playbook. Now, I should also add, we were running the same playbook too. Okay, so there should be a chart coming up on the screen right now.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we've got it.
Okay, so here we go. Here's National Grid. Now, I'll be shocked if you've ever heard of them.
Well, I can guess it's a utility company.
That's right. It's a utility company. Now, normally, what would I be doing touching a utility company, right?
Yeah.
They're just boring. They maybe go up 8% a year, maybe, right? I wouldn't touch one with a 10-foot barge pole because you can't make money with them. But here's the thing. National Grid isn't just any utility company. It's a British utility company. Now, I knew Brexit was creating just massive volatility in the market, and it was opening up this anomaly window, this area of uncertainty. But we also knew that National Grid was going to be fine. So what we did was we used this very low-risk strategy that I'm going to explain in a moment, and we captured 380% in returns in about 120 days, opened and closed. But John, this isn't some tech stock. It's a blue chip utility company. It's as boring as it gets. But when you combine the volatility you get from an anomaly window with this strategy that we use, the gains are life-changing. Now, again, if you were to invest in the S&P 500, like Wall Street has conditioned you, it would have taken you 23 years to make the kind of gain that we made in 120 days.
Okay, that is just fascinating to me. So let me just see if I got this right. By using the right strategy with an anomaly window, I can make 23 years worth of S&P 500 returns in just a few weeks.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And this is just one example. We have dozens. Take a look at GSK. Are you familiar with them?
Yes. No, go ahead.
Okay, they're a huge global drug company. You might know them under the name GlaxoSmithKline.
Hi.
So if you're like most people, you see the news, the media, everything's about the same big tech stocks, right? Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, and that, Meta, Tesla. I'm not knocking any of them. We've made a lot of money on them in the past. But the way I see it, why take unnecessary risk in high-flying tech stocks, especially when you can use blue chips to make much more money in way less time? So take a look at what happens with GSK when you invest the way that Wall Street does, right? You follow the right strategy, and in 3 months, you make 150%. John, do you have any idea how long it would take you to make 150% just by buying the GSK stock?
I don't know. I'm spitballing 15 years?
Longer.
20 years?
It took 33 years. So, John, that's the difference, right? When you can act within this anomaly window, combined with this strategy that I know you're not going to like, all right? You can recapture 33 years worth of returns in 3 months. But if you miss it or you don't know how to use that strategy, you got to wait 33 years. So that's why Fidelity says when you use this strategy, the potential profit is unlimited. And so we've continued here at Palm Beach to use this strategy for more than 11 years. Here's one that we use it on. It's called SSR Mining. They're a $3 billion gold and silver mining company. Now, over the past 21 years, SSR Mining is up about 263%, right? So that's 21 years of your life just gone. But in July 2019, there was another anomaly window opening, but within the precious metals market. So instead of buying the stock, I used the strategy that I'm going to talk about for a trade on SSR mining. Now, when you use it correctly, you don't have to wait 27 years for those kind of gains. You don't have to wait 2 years. Instead, had you followed the exact trade recommendation I shared with my subscribers, you would have captured 21 years of returns in literally 21 days.
My gosh.
This is what I mean when I say with the right strategy, you can recapture decades worth of gains in a matter of days. Friends, I want you to think about that. What is it worth to you? Really think about it. If you can shrink down 21 years worth of returns down to 21 days, you can't put a dollar figure on recapturing 21 years of your life. Can you?
No, that's priceless. That's invaluable. 21 days versus 21 years. I want to say it's just unreal, but it's not unreal. It's real, right? This is a real trade.
Yes. Friends at home, I want to make this very crystal clear, because John, you're absolutely right. This is not some crazy back test. This isn't some made-up scenario I had one of the genius college kids on my team model out. Every example that you've seen so far, and every example I'm going to show you today, is a real trade that I recommended to my subscribers using the same strategy that I'm going to reveal today.
Gosh, I just love that, TK. You know, it would be so easy, wouldn't it, just to grab a bunch of back-tested returns and say, hey, look, here's what could have happened. But that's not you, because these are real trades you delivered. But here's a question I have, though. Is it really that simple? And that matters. I mean, you're talking about using a Wall Street strategy here. It's always convoluted, always complicated, right?
I'm pausing because it's human nature to take something that is different and make it more difficult and more complicated than it is. And I'll give you a prime example. You know, back in 2016, when I got in front of cameras like these numerous times and said, friends, you must buy Bitcoin. At the time, it was $428. And I shot videos of what to do and how to do it. And really, here's what you had to do to buy Bitcoin. All you had to do was go online and go to www.coinbase.com, open up an account online, fund it, and buy some Bitcoin. It was that simple. But for many, many folks, they found it too complicated. Not because it was complicated, but because it was different, and they missed out.
I know. You don't have to bring this up. Just keep going.
It's a painful memory.
Guilty as charged. Please continue.
Don't beat yourself up, John. Here's the thing. All humans are built like this. When something's new, we make it complicated. Even when it's not complicated, we just get into our heads about it. And I will tell you right now, in order to run this strategy, all you have to do is take the special ticker symbol, enter it into your online brokerage account, and you can use the same strategy that Wall Street uses during these anomaly windows. And I'll prove it to everybody at home. Let's take a look at another anomaly window that opened up in 2020. Okay. We all know what happened in 2020, right? Huge uncertainty. Uncertainty creates huge opportunity.
Now, you're talking about the pandemic.
I'm actually talking about Trump versus Biden, the election. No one knew what was going to happen. It was an absolute circus. The market was a mess, but that circus gave us huge opportunities to put this strategy to work. So take a look at this particular stock, Construction Partners, ROAD, Road. They're a $1.7 billion infrastructure company. They make the materials we use to build highways. Now look, if you're a regular investor, you buy the stock, you hold it. Within 5 years, you make about 150%, which is really not bad, right?
No, well, come on, Tika. Hey, look, I don't want to wait 5 years, all right? I want to see what happens when I use Wall Street strategy, right?
You're a clever man. Now, instead of buying Construction Partners stock and having to wait 5 years, we used our strategy. So to activate it, all you had to do was simply log into your brokerage account, type in the ticker symbol that I give my readers, which we have right here. It should be coming up on the screen. And then watch what happens. When you punch in this ticker, bang, you make 150% in 6 days.
You know, it's interesting because 5 years, it doesn't seem that long at first, but like you said, why wait 5 years when you can do it in 6 days?
We're just getting started, John. Let's put up another chart on the screen. Here's Target up 183%. Now look, if you're a buy and hold investor in Target, do you have any idea how long you'd have to wait for 180% gain?
I don't know. A wild guess, 5, maybe 10 years?
Well, that's a good call. You know, I can see that Wall Street has programmed you to be patient, but not patient enough. You'd actually have to wait longer.
Longer, 15 years.
19 years.
19 years.
19. So if you take Wall Street's advice, you buy Target stock, you wait 19 years, you'll be in your 70s. Not a big deal.
Come on.
You make 183%. Now, look, do we have 19 years to wait?
We don't, Tika.
Do we? No. Are we going to hide our heads in the sand? We're going to stomach the ups and downs, twiddling our thumbs. Do you know how much patience, discipline, and stress it takes to do nothing for that amount of time? In 19 years, we're in our 70s. There's no way the average person is going to have the patience to wait that long, especially if you're already running behind.
That's right.
But why would you sit for 19 years if you don't have to?
Well, that's what I want to know. How long did it take Wall Street?
95 days.
95 days.
Think about that. You'd have to sit and hold the stock for 19 years to make 183%. These guys are doing it in 3 months. That's how powerful this strategy is during an anomaly window.
Okay. You're right. You're right. All right. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't understand why Wall Street isn't telling us about this strategy. Most folks, they really have no idea there's a second option. Thankfully, you're here.
Well, here's the main takeaway, John. And by the way, thank you for that. Here's what you really need to understand. When a new anomaly window opens, just like it is right now, there's enormous opportunity. And the few trades I've shared with you so far are nothing compared to what's possible today. Take a look at Morgan Stanley.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, how does Morgan Stanley connect to the 2020 election?
Well, it's easy, John. The financial firms at this period of time were getting destroyed. Why? Everyone feared that Biden would put the big banks out of business. But come on, we knew that was nonsense. I don't care who's in the White House. Wall Street finds a way to win, right?
That's exactly right, every time.
So we placed an anomaly trade. And instead of waiting for 10 years, by following my recommendations, using the strategies, again, that Wall Street uses with their own money every day, my readers literally could have made 169% in 14 days. So let's make this even more real. What does 169% in 14 days actually mean? It means that you could have captured 10 years worth of gains. 2 weeks.
Yep. Okay. I'm starting to connect these dots, Teak. I'm starting to get this. This really is just, you're compressing years of just waiting, running into the wind down to literally days.
Yeah, this is years to days. John, just imagine. 10 years from today is 2033. That's like choosing to wait until 2033 or choosing to collect your 169% gain 2 weeks from today.
You know, you said that I might get upset with this information. You're right. I mean, I'm just thinking of how many years that I missed out already. And what you mentioned before is you don't get those back. One thing I don't understand is this. If we could hit our financial goals so fast, am I right in saying we wouldn't even need Wall Street?
John, and that's it. You just hit the nail right on the head. Remember, I told you about that $457 billion conflict of interest, right? Well, this is it. This is the core reason why Wall Street has been working so hard to keep this information from you. Because the longer Wall Street holds your money, the more fees they keep siphoning out of your account. And John, you know, I worked on Wall Street, so I know exactly how this game is played. You want to keep your clients as long as possible. Why? Because you charge your clients a 2% management fee. If you're running a hedge fund, you're getting 20% of the profits. And as long as they stay with you, you're getting rich off their money. And the amount of money they make in fees is crazy. It's $457 billion a year in management fees, performance fees, incentive fees, fees that you don't even know about. So for every dollar in profit you make, they're making 64 cents over the life of your account.
Wow.
John, when I worked at Shearson Lehman, I had to spend 14 hours a day with these guys. I can tell you, they are greedy to their cores, a level of greed you can't understand. They use your money to buy yachts, luxury cars, second homes in the Hamptons, and they pay for it all by keeping you on the hamster wheel as long as possible. That's why they'll never tell you. Just think about how much money they would lose if people were able to get financially free faster by themselves. Do the math. At $457 billion a year in fees, that's $9.1 trillion with a T in fees over a 20-year period alone. $9.1 trillion. Do you think, John, that they're going to give that up?
Never.
Never, ever, 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 ever. And this is why they have spent billions of dollars conditioning you to keep your money with them for your whole life, because that's how they get all their fees. They don't want you to be rich. It's not because they're necessarily mean people, right? It's not in their economic interest for you to be rich. They don't want you to be financially independent, because then you don't need them. And if you don't need them, they don't get their houses in the Hamptons. They want you trapped inside their matrix, running on that hamster wheel until your legs give out, until you're so exhausted, you're so defeated, you're so demoralized, you have no self-confidence left, and you're too powerless and desperate to walk away from them. You're trapped in their matrix.
I have often wondered if all that was true. I've thought those things, but the way you just articulated it, boy, it just brings it to light. I mean, trapped in Wall Street's matrix. It's brutal.
This is the reason why they're not going to tell you about this. This is your number one question. Why are they not telling me about this, Tika? They're not incentivized to tell you this. So when you see your S&P 500 returns are up over 20 years, you're not looking at a 4x return on your money. Here's what you're really looking at. A $9 trillion wealth transfer from your pocket to Wall Street's pocket. You see, most think buying and holding stocks for decades is the only way to reach their financial gains. Now, look, don't take this the wrong way, and please don't get offended. But while you're waiting decades, Wall Street, they're laughing their butts off at you, at me, at John, at all of us. Because while they're telling you to invest in stocks and hold them forever, they're putting billions to work in this specific strategy I'm going to talk about tonight to capture years' worth of returns. Not in years, but in days. Talking about the biggest and most profitable firms on Wall Street are doing this. Ray Dalio, Ken Griffin, John Paulson, George Soros, Steve Cohen, Jim Simons, Jim Chanos. John, I've been using this strategy for my readers for over 11 years with a 96% success rate. It's more reliable than anything else I have ever seen in my 30-plus years in the financial markets. And if you had known Wall Street strategy like I did, you could have compressed decades of waiting down to just a few days. The bottom line is Wall Street wants you to believe this strategy is complicated, risky, complex. Oh, it's too hard for you to understand. Nothing could be further from the truth. And friends, when I tell you what it is, it'll be like a light switch going off in your brain. Once you get over the initial reluctance, you'll see that anyone can use this strategy. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter what your net worth is. Doesn't matter what your educational background is. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. Doesn't matter where you came from. If you're educated or not educated, anyone can do this.
All right, Tika, you got me. I'm on board. Even if it takes me way out of my comfort zone, I'm on board. So what I want to hear about now is this anomaly window. What is this? How long does it last? And then maybe if you're kind enough, you can walk us through the specifics on how this Wall Street strategy really works.
All right, let's do it. So the first thing you need to know is why anomaly windows are so powerful. And that's because they unleash, again, large-scale volatility, like in the case of Brexit, the Trump versus Biden election. The more volatile the market becomes, the more money we make from this strategy. Now, the anomaly I'm tracking now could be the biggest to date. What I'm talking about is a Fed-induced anomaly window. So what is that? Well, again, unless you've been in the game for 30 years plus like I have, you've never been able to put all the pieces together. But over the past 2 years, the Fed has been playing puppet master with interest rates, right? They take interest rates to near zero, and then they raise rates 11 times in a row to over 5% today in the blink of an eye. It's the fastest series of rate hikes we've seen, I believe, ever. Wall Street got caught off guard in 2022 when the Fed started raising rates, and everyone got crushed because of it. That's why Wall Street is now watching the Fed's every move, and they don't understand it. And now we have an important Fed meeting coming up in October. Wall Street's hoping for a pivot, but it's not going to happen. Wall Street's going to be wrong again, and it's going to continue to rock the markets.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it does seem kind of obvious, doesn't it? We have not beaten inflation. In fact, inflation is just accelerating, and Jerome Powell is even saying higher rates may be needed. It's all right there, isn't it?
Wall Street doesn't always look at the facts. They're often blinded by their greed. They see the market rallying, and even with all these huge risks hanging over the market, they're praying for you to come back into stocks. But here's the thing. They're making the biggest financial mistakes of their lives, and they don't even realize it. And it's going to rock the markets. I'm talking about volatility bigger than Brexit, the 2020 presidential election combined. I believe this is why the biggest firms on Wall Street are moving money into this special strategy right now. But now you're probably asking yourself, how in the heck can blue chips deliver these kind of returns in this type of environment?
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to know. How does this sort of trade work?
As far as Wall Street strategy, you asked me if this was something an everyday investor could do, and the answer is yes. You can do this in a regular brokerage account. You can even call your broker, and he'll run the trade for you. But again, I want to remind you, friends, when I reveal this strategy, I know that most of you are not going to want to do it, and that's because Wall Street has spent an obscene amount of money to condition you to hate this idea, because they don't want you to be successful. So here's what I'm going to do, John. I'm going to tell you what the strategy is. I'm going to ask you, please, do not hit the exit button on your seat. Do not hit the exit button at home, because this is where the rubber meets the road. The strategy that Wall Street is using to make a fortune from these anomaly windows is options.
Options? Wait a minute. Options? Aren't options something that most people wouldn't and probably shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole? Tika, I mean, it just seems, I don't know, this whole thing seems a lot riskier than I thought it was a minute ago.
Well, I did tell you, I'm looking at that crystal ball. I mean, it does seem that way, doesn't it, John?
Well, yeah, options are risky. Everybody knows that, Tika.
So this is exactly what I was speaking about earlier. I knew as soon as the word options was uttered, Wall Street's conditioning would go to work. And it's not your fault. Remember, I said, when I tell you what it is, you're going to freak out, your defenses are going to go up, and you're going to hate it. And that's Wall Street's conditioning at work. As soon as most people hear the word options, it's like a buzzword. A bell goes off, and one word pops into their minds. Risky.
Risky and run.
Risky and run. And it makes sense. Because what Wall Street has not done is they have not educated you on the correct way to use options. Wall Street has spent an obscene amount of money, actually, promoting the riskiest way to use options. Now, why would they do that, John?
I don't know.
Because it's a gigantic profit center for them.
Of course.
And right now, I can tell you unequivocally, Wall Street is moving money into the options market at a rate we have never seen before in history. Look, there should be a chart coming up on the screen right now. Here on the blue line, that's a stock market. That includes stocks like Apple, Nvidia, Target, eBay. It also includes index funds like the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ. That's how 99% of Main Street invests today. This is, again, 99% of what the financial media covers. You with me, right?
Yeah, I got you. Blue line is stocks. That's me.
Right. Okay, so the red line, I want you to see this. Now, for 200 years in the entire history of the stock market, stocks were the most active market in the world. But do you see where these two lines cross?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, that red line, that's the options market, surpassing the stock market for the first time since options have been trading. That's what Wall Street has been doing behind the scenes, moving more and more of their money out of the stock market into the options market. But again, they'll never tell you this. Look at this memo the strategist at Goldman Sachs sent to clients. He admitted how unknown this is, saying few investors have reaped the benefits. Now look at what the chief strategist at Oppenheimer and Company said. He said, if you know the right way to use options, it's a win-win. Oppenheimer, who are they? They're the money manager for money managers. Now here's one more, and you have to see this. JP Morgan issued a warning on their website saying options can be very risky. Do you know how much their trade group made with options? Over $1.5 billion, not in a year, in a quarter. That was 1/4 of profit for the firm. In fact, I had my analysts do some digging. All told, Wall Street is making as much as $22.5 billion per year from options trading. So clearly, options are not a bad product. It's the way they're being used and the way that Wall Street has conditioned you to use them.
$22.5 billion per year. That is just unreal. And then here's the thing. They put on their website, stay away from options because they're too risky. Come on.
Even Bloomberg reported on this. They said options by design make one side the winner and the other side the loser. What side do you think Wall Street's on? The winning side or the losing side?
Well, the winning side, there's no question about that.
And there's not even a doubt in our minds. So what I want to do is take you from the losing side of an options trade to the winning side of an options trade.
So this really is something that I can do? I mean, even if I'm not a professional like the guys on Wall Street?
That's right, John. The guys on Wall Street want you to believe that they're infinitely smarter than you, right? They went to Harvard, Wharton, whatever Ivy League school, and they get jobs on Wall Street. And these guys, they literally think they're gods. I mean, they walk into rooms and they think they're gods. They tell you to buy and hold. Meanwhile, behind your back, they're using options to capture decades of returns in a matter of days, not years. Wall Street built the system. They control the system. They use every secret, every strategy, every advantage, every tool for their benefit. They are the ultimate of hypocrisy in our society. In public, they tell you about risk. In private, it's a completely different story. It's one of the many reasons why I had to get out of Wall Street. I couldn't take it anymore. Again, I mentioned this earlier, John. When I worked on Wall Street, I hated who I was. Wall Street turned me into a machine, not a person. I couldn't stand the person I had become. I knew I had to change something. I had to do something differently. And that's why I came to the newsletter business. You see, my entire professional career here has been about leveling the playing field between the super rich and the everyday investor. So when I entered the newsletter space, one of my first lines of business was to bring this strategy to my readers. And that's why I built Alpha Edge, my premium options trading service. Every other week, we deliver to our readers the exact proper strategy that Wall Street uses to trade options. In short, it's designed to help you capture decades of returns in a matter of days with very low risk. Now, I told you, we've been using this strategy for over 11 years with a 96% success rate. And I have proof of that. Since 2012, Alpha Edge has generated 447 trades. We've profited from 429 of them. It's so effective, we've achieved a long-term track record that beats the world's most famous hedge funds. Check this out. We've outperformed Ray Dalio's Bridgewater, Citadel's flagship Wellington Fund, and the top 50 hedge funds.
That's what I think is the most impressive thing here, that it's not just one good year. It's successful and it's consistent. That's big. And to top it all off, you're telling me I can potentially beat the pants off of Wall Street and profit 96% of the time. I will take those odds 100% of the time.
Exactly. And John, it bears repeating. We've been using this strategy for 11 years now. So that's the 2014 oil shock, the 2018 trade war, Brexit, the pandemic, the Trump presidency, Biden election, the 22 stock market crash. Even through all of that, really drink that in. We still managed to keep our success rate strong and profit on more than 96% of our trades. And what's so exciting right now is the profit potential is accelerating at a rapid pace. I'm talking about capturing 6 years worth of returns on Home Depot, capturing 30 years of returns on Jeffrey Financials in 42 days, capturing 31 years of returns on CVS in 34 days. The returns from this strategy can be insane, which is why I don't want to waste a single second more, and I want to help you get in the action. In fact, my existing Alpha Edge readers have already received their first round of trade recommendation, and I cannot wait to put everybody else watching on the right path. So, friends, because you made the time to be here today, I've reserved a seat for you at Alpha Edge. I want to welcome you with a very special arrangement. In short, I want to make this as easy as possible for you to come join me today. Now, I know trying something new, man, it's uncomfortable. I get it. I know that also at the same time, you're going to have to rewrite years of conditioning from Wall Street that have made you believe that all option strategies are risky. And I'm not going to tell you that they don't have risk. They do. Everything in life has risk. But the way that we use options is very different from the way that Wall Street has been telling you to use them. The promise I make to you is that my team will be there to guide you every step of the way through this process.
Okay. So let's say I become a member of Alpha Edge today. What can I expect from that?
John, Alpha Edge is a full-service financial resource to help you grow your wealth using these option strategies. We give you everything you need to win, including the Alpha Edge Manifesto. This manifesto covers the 3 core strategies that we have used to create this 96% win rate at Alpha Edge. Most importantly, it distills down my decades of experience working in finance in an easy-to-understand manual.
Okay, well, easy to understand is good. Simple is good.
Now, the other thing that we did, the other investment that we made is we created something called the Alpha Edge Advantage course, and it's a 4-part video course that compresses the most important options trading concepts into around 10 minutes or less. So this is perfect for the people who want to get, they want to get deep into the details. They want to lift up the hood and they really want to get their hands dirty. You never, ever have to look at one of those videos. You can just simply take the ticker symbol that I give you, call your broker or type it in, and you're good to go.
I see.
But if you're a person that likes to get your hands dirty, we've got all the information for you. Plus, you'll also get access to the Alpha Edge members-only model portfolio. This is where you can see any and all of our open trades in Alpha Edge. It makes it incredibly easy to track everything.
Well, that sounds like a winning combination so far. Simple and easy. Well, how about new trades? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So twice a month, members of my Alpha Edge service receive a new trade alert from me and my team. And what's really most important and what's most exciting about right now is that we've put together the Elite 30, the top blue chip stocks to trade during an anomaly window. So out of the 6,000 stocks that trade on the market today, my team and I have narrowed it down to just 30 companies that we regularly go to. And in this report, I share the full list of blue chip stocks that we're going to be targeting over the next 90 days.
And we get all this right now as soon as we join.
As soon as you join, you get immediate access to this special report.
I like that. I respect that. Okay, you heard him, folks. As Tika mentioned, he has a seat reserved for you at Alpha Edge right now. How much does it cost? Well, Alpha Edge is not cheap, and rightly so. With a 96% profit win rate over an 11-year time frame, I got to tell you, it is the most successful research service I've ever seen by far. So, considering the track record, the annual price tag makes sense. A 1-year membership to Alpha Edge costs $4,000. That's an incredible deal, especially when you consider what you get. You get access to Tika Tawari's Alpha Edge, and you'll also receive Tika Tawari's Alpha Edge Manifesto, the Alpha Edge Advantage course. That's a 4-video course that will prep you on everything that you need to know to take full advantage of Alpha Edge and do it quickly. You get access to the Alpha Edge model portfolio, where you can track all of your trades. and Tika's latest special report, the Elite 30, the top blue chip stocks to trade today. Again, this is a list of the 30 strongest blue chip companies Tika's team is monitoring right now. Now, Tika believes these companies will give us the chance to make outsized gains in the market safely, all in a matter of days. As a member, the moment one of these Elite 30 stocks comes within range, you will receive a high priority trade alert. Here's the thing though, you don't have to pay full price, because if you act today, you can join Tika's Alpha Edge for just $1,750. That's correct. Instead of paying $4,000, which is what everybody else typically has to pay, you only pay $1,750. You know what's interesting is I get why you call this the race against the clock. Not only is this my chance to catch up, but I also have to hurry if I want to get in on this great deal. Now, folks, if Alpha Edge is of any interest, please do not wait. Click the special offer button on your screen or just below the video if you're watching from your smartphone. You'll be taken to a secure order page where you can lock in this deal right now. Folks, don't overthink it, okay? Tika has removed so many barriers already. The door is wide open, just waiting on you to walk through. If you wait, it could close, it could be gone. If you try and come back a little bit later and join, his order page may be closed, and this is what you will see. You know, Tika, you've done so much here for both me and the folks at home. Really do appreciate it. Want to say thank you. It's one of the most generous offers I've ever seen, bar none. Folks, it's as good as it gets. Right now, you can join Tika's Alpha Edge Options Trading Research Service at a huge discount. Remember, the retail price is $4,000 per year, but if you act right now, you can become a new member for just $1,750. So folks, if you're interested, please act promptly. All right, Tika, floor is all yours. Do you have any final words?
Well, the first thing I want to say, John, is just thank you for hosting this event. I really appreciate it. Friends, thank you for watching and for being invested in making a change in your life. I know how hard it is to get out of your comfort zone. I understand that. And that's why I've done everything in my power to make this an easy decision for you. I've done my best to show you why Wall Street hasn't educated you on how to use options properly. I've shown you how Wall Street is now piling more money into the options market using the same strategies that we use at Alpha Edge than they've ever put into the options market before. I've shown you how for the last 11 years, across arguably some of the craziest markets we have ever seen, at Alpha Edge, we've still managed to maintain a 96% win rate for more than 11 years. Friends, why have I done this? Because I want to help you move the needle in your financial life. I want to help you recapture the decades of your life that have been siphoned away from you by Wall Street. And we can do that with this strategy. I promise you, it's an easy to use strategy. As I said before, if you're somebody, you need to get under the hood of something and really see how it all works, I've got untold amounts of information that you can go into. Our special reports, our manifesto, our videos. If you're someone that says, no, T, I get it. I'm looking at your track record, you're crushing it. Just give me the ticker symbol and I'll go to work. Wherever you are on that continuum, we're there ready to meet you and help you reach whatever financial goal that you want to reach. But at the end of the day, you have to be the person that has the courage to say, you know what? This plan I'm on, it ain't working. It's not going to get me where I want to go. I've got to do something different. And the beauty about what we do at Alpha Edge is I'm not asking you to go speculate in penny stocks. I'm not asking you to speculate in crypto. I'm not asking you to get involved in some kind of crazy type of trading strategy that relies on the sun and the moon being at the right angles for you to make money. I'm talking about a trading program and strategy that works 96% of the time, that mothers, grandmothers, stay-at-home mothers, teachers, everybody that you can imagine from every range and background of wealth, of modest wealth, every type of educational background has been involved in and done very well with. So I've done everything in my power to help get you where you want to be. The next step is up to you. And so what I'm asking you is to take that next step. Come continue this journey with me, and let's go make Wall Street pay for what they've done to you for the last 40 years. And let's get you on track. All right, friends, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And as I always like to say, I want you to always remember, let the gain come to you.